It is time for Monday Catch-Up, welcoming Frankie J. Holden. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. It's Denis, isn't it?
Yes,
yes. Lovely to speak with you.
And Brett Climo, welcome back.
Denis, thank you for having us.
Brett, it wasn't that long ago that you weren't quite sure whether there was going to be another season, and then Foxtel picked up A Place to Call Home, and the rest is history. It's good news.
Isn't it wonderful? It's a great story. The power of our audience is something. It really is. It's a testament to their belief in the show. No, it's a wonderful story.
And I think there were, from Channel 7's perspective, sort of sensible commercial reasons why they weren't continuing with it, but the power of the people is really spoken.
Yes, well, I think the sensible commercial reason was it costs money to make quality drama, and at that point, Seven decided not to, that wasn't worthwhile going ahead. Here I am. I've just crossed a bridge, haven't I? You're too smart, Denis. But anyway, but thankfully Foxtel listened to the audience, and that audience has continued to grow both here and overseas. I think it's now aired in over 130 countries, and there are strong fan bases in the States and all through Europe, so it's becoming a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, what was the nod from the Wall Street Journal?
Yes, the Wall Street Journal called it one of the must-watch shows in 2016, and I think, was it the Hollywood Reporter or something, another venerable entertainment institution in LA also gave it a great big wrap-up, but strangely didn't mention me.
Well, you can't be mentioned all the time. You've just,
I'd like to be.
Take the bits where you're mentioned and just go, yes, that was really good. And if you're not mentioned, just take it calmly.
Okay.
Which clearly you're not doing.
Every time I come on with you, I learn something. That's the great part about it.
Not much you would be learning. You're also touring.
Yeah, we do.
And a new CD out. Is there anything you're not doing?
Well, the next thing will be the Christmas CD. The old 55 Christmas CD, special guest, Denis Walter.
No. Brett, when you were in that situation where you weren't sure what was going to be happening,
yes,
did you then have to look at other options, or were you always hopeful that this would get up?
I wasn't hopeful at all. I thought once the decision had been made, I'd been around the industry for so long, and it's you accept the hard decisions. I was incredibly disappointed. I didn't think I'd have an opportunity like this again, because I do believe in the show so much. So I was as surprised as anybody when the word was that Foxtel were initially looking at it, and I was a very happy man when the announcement was made. That's for sure. Yeah.
Frank, you're worried you haven't been mentioned in the Wall Street Journal or the Hollywood Reporter, but OAM this year. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, mate. Yeah.
Indeed.
I mean, how much attention do you want? You've got an OAM.
Yes, that's a lovely thing to happen. Very humbling when you look at the people that have been similarly honoured, not only this year, of course, but in years gone past. And I was particularly pleased because it came from the South Coast, where I've lived for a number of years, as you know, and it came from...
Would that be the Tathra?
Very close to the Tathra beachside, yes. Very close to there, but it came from... things I've done down there in the community, and then the show business aspect was, I think, the icing on the cake. But it's a lovely, very humbling thing to happen.
If I introduce
Have you got one?
I have got one, but not here to talk about me. So would I need to introduce you as that if I was introducing you on stage?
Yes, Frankie J. Holden, OAM, if you wouldn't mind.
Only a male. Is that what it stands for?
Well, there's a few other things that have been suggested to me. The order of... but it's still lovely.
Brett,
I can't compete with that, Denis. I apologise.
Yours is on the way. With A Place to Call Home...
Apparently they're giving them away now if I've got one. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say anything. Brett's maybe alluding to it. With A Place to Call Home, after Downton Abbey, to have a show to hook in and connect to a similar sort of audience and to do it so well is a great credit to everyone involved.
Well, it is. I think the production values on our show are extraordinarily high, and I think that's if you're going to sort of put it against Downton Abbey, that's a comparison people make, because that's a beautiful show to look at, and ours is equally as beautiful. I mean, the design team behind it, that's one of the reasons why Seven obviously couldn't afford the show, because the amount of money spent in remounting this show was in the millions of dollars. The sets we're talking about are the most elaborate sets that I've ever worked on. The costumes, suits being made constantly.
Motor vehicles.
Motor vehicles. I mean, the production costs a lot of money, and it's once again Foxtel's credit that they reinvested that money into it. But I think it says a lot for the audience when they respond to quality on television, and we can't forget that we are competing in that international market now. And there are so many beautiful shows to look at, well-produced shows, that we have to compete in that, and we're doing very, very well. And audiences respond to quality, which is terrific. It's actually a great, it says, if you invest, there is a return on it. And I think that's good for other producers to see that.
And I would like to just note that
Don't say something you shouldn't.
no, it's still the Channel 7 production team that are making it. They're actually making it. So all of those guys and women down in that team deserve a big pat on the back for the fabulous way that they put the show together every week.
For those who haven't been watching, Brett, if you can just tell us a little bit about George Bly.
Yes, George ends the last series marrying his sister-in-law.
Right, happy George.
Happy George, but it's a calculated move. He wants to move into politics, and she has all the right connections. So I kind of like the idea that we're seeing George as sort of a little bit more forthright, and he's sort of putting his heart aside to a certain extent, and he's sort of pursuing other ambitions.
It's like a business arrangement.
That's how it's described, in fact. Pragmatic.
What about what happens to Roy?
No, there's no sex for Roy. Hopefully there will be. Roy Briggs, for those of you who haven't been watching the show, is a farmer. I've based him on my mother's family, who are all sheep farmers in the Tamworth region, the New England region of New South Wales. And he's when the show started 3 seasons ago, he was down in his dumps. He'd lost his 2 boys in the war. His wife had been killed as well, or died. And he was drinking too much, Denis, and staying at home. And I sort of based him on Ernie Sigley, really. But now he's through the presence of Sarah, and he's reawakened some of the joys in his life. So you're starting to see him have a sense of humour and starting to become the guy that he was before all those misfortunes befell him. And hopefully, I'm very hopeful that in this series that's about to start, we will see some romantic interest for Roy because he's a bit lonely.
Just ahead of the break, these are really well thought out characters, aren't they? There's been must have been a lot of work go into the actual, and I've heard this from movie reviewers in Australia. They say there's not enough sort of time or budgets to actually research, go back over things, but it sounds like this has been really done properly.
Yes, it is. It is done properly. And I will give credit to Bevan Lee and the whole script writing team, because all of the characters are very multi-layered, with great depth to them, and that is again a joy, and it is a rarity, particularly in television, which can tend to be a sausage factory. But this is something that's just a joy to play, and every day. Brett and I were discussing just before we came on air, when we go to the read-throughs of the scripts, it's a page turner, and I can fully understand why people get so involved and into the show, because there's just something on every page, in every scene. There's something of depth.
I want to talk to you about that preparation, but we'll take a break. And Brett and Frankie, happy to take your calls if you're a Place to Call Home fan or Frankie's music fan or whatever. 96900 693 or 13 13 32 if you're listening in regional Victoria. Back soon.